I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tonight's roll call, all members are present. And then for tonight's meeting, we need to appoint a temporary clerk, and I'd like to appoint Jonathan Drews as the temporary clerk for this evening. The next thing up is the oath of office. So if the newly elected and re-elected board members could join me at the front here, I'd like to cite the oath of office. Are we gonna record? On the camera? Yeah. Okay, so slide it a little bit this way. It is an honor that you were elected to guide the education of our community's children. As you recite the oath of office, you assume a tremendous responsibility as a director of our school district, empowered by the Minnesota legislature. This power puts you and the other members of our school board in the position of being morally and legally responsible for equitable, quality education for every student. Carrying out this responsibility, you will be asked to fulfill the roles of vision, structure, accountability, and advocacy. In providing vision, the school board, with extensive participation of the community, envisions the community's educational future and then formulates the goals, defines the outcomes, and sets the course for the public school. To achieve the vision, the board establishes a structure and creates an environment designed to ensure all students the opportunity as a board, we must be accountable to the community. We must ensure a continuous assessment of student achievement in all conditions affecting the education of our children. As board members, we serve as education's key advocates on behalf of students and our community schools to advance the visions of our schools. Furthermore, we must strive to work together and with the superintendent and staff to lead the district towards fulfilling the visions we have created, fostering excellence for every student in the areas of academic skills and knowledge, citizenship, and personal development. Having signed the acceptance of oath of office, I hereby ask you to publicly affirm your commitment to the oath of office. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of this state. And that I will discharge faithfully the duties of the office of school board member. Of Independent School District 719. To the best of my judgment and ability.
Congratulations.
Okay. Next up is the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So made.
By Mary. Second?
Second?
Second.
We'll give it to Enrique. Any discussion? Okay. This is a roll call vote. Amy.
Aye.
Julie.
Aye.
Mary.
Aye.
Michael.
Aye.
Aye. Jonathan. Enrique.
Aye.
That passes 7-0. Next up is the election of officers, and there's quite a procedure to follow here. So bear with me, Robert's rules, require us to 3 times repeat. So just, it kind of sounds funny sometimes to the public, but it's a requirement. So, the first office, would be the office of chair. And I'm asking for any nominations for the office of school board chair.
I would nominate Stacy Ruel for the office of chair.
Okay, Michael Nelson nominates Stacy Rowe as chair. Are there any other nominations for the office of chair? Are there any further nominations for the office of chair? Are there any other further nominations for the office of chair? Last time. Okay, seeing no other nominations, myself, Stacy Ruel, I'm the only candidate for the office of chair, and so I hereby declare that I be elected by acclamation and direct that the acting clerk record that in the minutes. Okay. Next up is for the office of vice chair clerk. Do I have any nominations for the office of vice chair clerk?
I nominate Michael Nelson.
Jonathan Drews.
Okay, so Jonathan Drews.
Second that nomination?
There actually doesn't need to be a second on.
Second, okay.
Nope. And then Jonathan,
Michael Nelson.
Michael Nelson. Okay. Are there any other nominations for the office of vice chair clerk? Are there any other nominations for the office of vice chair clerk? Are there any other nominations? Seeing none. Okay. So since we had 2 names, Jonathan Drews and Michael Nelson, we'll take a vote, and these have to be roll call votes. Okay, so trying to figure out how to do this. So the first person that will be voting on, the first name brought forward, is Jonathan Drews for vice chair. All in favor, I'm gonna have to roll call. All in favor of having Jonathan Drews, so we just have to do yay and nay, correct, Martha? Okay. So, Mary,
Yay.
Michael,
Nay?
nay, Jonathan,
Nay.
Enrique,
Aye.
Amy,
Nay.
Julie.
Nay.
Okay, that fails. And then, all in favor of Michael Nelson as the office of vice chair and clerk. Mary,
Nay.
Michael,
Aye.
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 Enrique,
Nay.
Amy,
Aye.
Julie.
Aye.
That passes 5-2. So Michael Nelson received the majority of the votes cast and is elected the vice chair of the school board for 2021. Okay, next up would be treasurer. Do I have any nominations for treasurer? I nominate Jonathan Drews for treasurer.
I nominate myself, Mary France, for treasurer.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Okay, seeing none. So the first vote will be for Jonathan Drews as treasurer. Mary?
Nay.
Michael?
Aye.
Aye. Jonathan?
Aye.
Enrique?
There it goes. Nay.
Amy?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
And then Mary, so this will be all in favor of having Mary as the treasurer. Mary?
Aye.
Michael?
Nay.
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 Enrique?
Aye.
Amy?
Nay.
Julie?
Nay.
Okay. So Jonathan Drews has received the majority of the votes cast and is elected treasurer of the school board. On to the consent agenda. Okay. So consent agendas, the following items, and board members, in your board packet, we have listed all the organizations that have relationships as it relates to the specific, financial auditing clerk. And I'm just gonna read the titles, but you can see the names there. And so as far as the consent agenda, we'll be approving those names listed in our packets. So the following consent agenda items require board approval. A, the designated depositories for the school district funds. B, the official school district legal newspaper. C, the name of the school district financial consultants. D, the name of the school district legal counsel. E, the name of the district auditing firm. F, the name of the assistant board clerk. G, authorizing to purchase and lease contract for goods and services within the budget. H is designating the schools district special ed director, district LEA, ESEA program, and data practices compliance officer. I is delegate the authority to make electronic transfers. J is direct administration to public notification in the official district newspapers. K is designate of the identified official with authority for the MDE external user access and recertification system. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as read?
So made.
By Mary, second.
Second.
By Enrique. So roll call vote. Enrique.
I think he knows he's first.
What? Yeah.
I think you caught him off guard.
Did I?
so you-
Enrique? He might be frozen. Oh, there he is.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear
Yep.
you called me.
Yep.
Yeah, aye.
Amy?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
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 Jonathan? Okay, that passes 7-0. All right, board compensation. For this year, we're actually keeping everything the same. It's been this way for quite a few years. I think 2018, the end of 2017 was the last time that we changed. As listed in your packet, the board's salary would be $6,000 per year plus $20 per meeting for official standing committees, district-wide and external. And then the board chair will receive an additional $500. The vice chair clerk will receive an additional $300, as well as the treasurer for the year of service. So we're requesting to set the compensation for 2021. I think we're keeping everything the same. Unless anyone has any discussion or question on that. Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve the board compensation. Do I have a second?
Second.
Jonathan? Any discussion? Okay, seeing none. This is a roll call vote as well. Jonathan?
Aye.
Enrique?
Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
Michael? Aye. That passes 7-0. With that, we'd have a little discussion as far as the process. I mean, I talked to Lee. Thank you for everyone who sent in their recommendations. I am going to just talk about a couple things that, people have talked about over this past year, numbers of years of a few things as far as committee structure, the finance, facilities, and long-range planning committee that we've had for a number of years, over the last number of years with our concentration on facilities and growth and how much construction and things we've had. A lot of that committee has had its focus on facilities. I think going forward, there has been some talk, and I know a couple of the new board members after their training were asking about finance committee, and it's just the emphasis on finances, I think, is going to be, especially with COVID-related expenses and the state's budget position, is that there is going to be a lot of dialogue and a lot of need to dive deep in some finances. And so I think we're looking at this group to go a little bit beyond the scope of just facilities as our finance as it relates to facilities, and really work on that long-range goal and long-range planning. I don't know if there's any comments or discussion on that, but that was really, I know, the focus. I know I've talked to quite a few of you about all this, but I don't know if anybody has any comments or if they think that's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea. I'd also like to see the meetings be extended in time to have a set agenda that's a little bit more involved with that and focus exactly as you said. Having been on the committee for some time now, yes, the majority of it was a 10 or 15 minute overview of facilities, and that needs to change going forward because obviously our objectives and our current challenges have changed quite a bit. And that particular facility is one of the 3 pillars of the board responsibility, including curriculum. So we need to spend a lot more time on that in order to ensure that our district can survive this latest pandemic.
Right. And I think with some of this change, and I think the other thing that we want to talk about too was a community finance, council advisory, I don't know, whatever the wording, we've been years about talking about that, and I think that now is, and talking to a couple other people too, as well as it may be a good time to bring that forward. I think it's something that we'll probably talk about. We'll have to do a little changing to our policy at 213 on the school board committees before we do anything official with that. But we'll plan to take some time at the study session in January to kind of review that. But I think it's important to at least get this finance, facilities, and long-range planning committee going now, with a charge. But we will talk, I think, later in the month, just with some emphasis on that, and then with that community group, and then changing our policies accordingly. I think the other thing to talk about too is a little bit is that I don't think we really want anything to change from a standpoint of what comes to the board as a whole, because I think finances are such a critical part, obviously, of anything that we can do, that we really don't want we don't want what had happened or what board members had felt in the past when we had a finance committee is that it limited what was coming to the table. And I just don't think I don't want to see what we actually bring as far as depth and breadth to the table change. I'm hoping that you guys can help on that committee kind of form what comes forward, but that you're able to do a deeper dive in the subcommittee groups and, but still us at the board table will be able to be just as informed as we have been. So, like I said, I think we'll go into a little more detail in January's board session, but if everyone's okay with that, I think that's the direction forward that we're going to go.
So the first step would be to obviously reintroduce policy 213.
213, yeah.
Yeah, okay, and take a look at that and make sure it's adjusted accordingly, and then bring that through the normal policy vote.
Yeah, the one thing I would say on that, since we just did review that,
Right.
honestly, we're almost, and I think I have 3 other 200s that we have to get through, would be, and I know we've done this at board retreats. We just have an agreement that this is how we're going to run, and when we get to the policy, which we're going to get to it quick, I don't think we're going to change a lot there, but I would ask that we probably do the review and then maybe bring it forward in that February meeting for approval.
Okay, so should we bring forward a draft
Yeah.
of the changes to 213?
Yes, we'll bring that forward, just, based on our discussion, do a little wordsmithing there, I think in January. I don't think it needs to be a lot, but, and adding that council. And then I think it will be the charge of this group to oversee a little bit of that community finance.
So are you asking that the people on the finance committee that are gonna be named then, basically get together prior to the study session so we can bring something to discuss instead of the original?
I don't think for as far as what relates to 213 is gonna be changing a lot, because that's just listing the committee, it's not even giving a charge so much. I think, it'll have more,
Scope in there, though.
yeah, there's some scope in there, but I think it's fairly plain as what's listed on there. I don't think 213, it's just basically naming our committees. I think, going forward, is having a more breadth of a discussion about what we want to see as the charge in that community. And I think all 7 of us should probably have that conversation at the study table and then send the charge to the small group. So I don't think you necessarily have to meet as it relates to the committee. If there's other things that have to come through before that, you know what I mean, as it not relates specifically to that, and that group has to meet, obviously meet. But I don't think as it relates to what we're talking about, I think, let's get a consensus of the board and a deeper discussion, and then we'll send the charge to that group to go forward after that.
Do we have a facilities and finance meeting scheduled before the next study session? Because I know we canceled the one on January 5th.
That I don't know. Jim, yeah?
I think we were waiting until we found out who the new board
Okay,
members. We do not have anything on the books.
All right, so we will not be, I just want to clarify, we will not be meeting before our first study session on Tuesday.
There is nothing currently scheduled.
Next, not Tuesday.
Okay.
2 weeks from today on Monday.
okay. Is that, okay, sounds good. The other thing I wanted to talk about, just one other thing on the committees. I think, the one other area that I, talked about was, AMSD, that is, the American Metro School District. I'd like to, as similar as we done in the curriculum committee, I mean, it really has one person, but I do think it's important, if we can, to have other board members be a part of that legislative. And I would encourage, actually, like I know, many of you were on the legislative preview, there are times where we can invite the whole to see those things, because it's pretty relevant to what's going on and what's going to happen. And because advocacy is such part of our work, I think having another board member on that is helpful. And so I would recommend that we just have an optional person on there as well, to have 2 on there. And then, other than that, I don't think I have anything else. I don't know if anyone else had anything. I'm gonna take, if everyone's okay with that discussion, basically, I'm gonna take a 5-minute recess. I'm just gonna work with Martha and just kind of get the details down, so I can give you, before we approve the assignments, that you have a hard copy in front of you. And Enrique, we might have to email you. Okay, so if we can take a 5-minute recess, okay? Thank you. Okay, in the order, I think I placed all the committee assignments in front of you. And so with that, I look for a motion to approve the school board committee assignments for 2021 as listed
So made.
by Michael. Second,
Second.
Second.
by Mary. Yeah, Mary, sorry. Any comments or questions? Okay, seeing none. Julie? Vote aye. 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 Mary?
Aye.
Michael? Aye.
Aye.
Jonathan? Enrique?
Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
Okay, that passes 7-0. Okay, and then discussion for meeting and procedures format. I think the one thing that got brought forward just is a question. We have our board meetings already set through June 30th, I believe, already, like officially. And so moving forward, the question came up that is there any reason that anyone would have, I know our study sessions start at 6, but from a standpoint of consistency and the fact that the administration team works all day long and they have to stay for our board meetings, Would there be any objection to starting our actual official board meetings at 6 at the same time as the study session? Does anyone see any issue with that? The only thing I would say, oh, go ahead, Michael. I would think you'd probably say the same thing I'm going to say. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the one thing we had discussed several months ago was if we ever have to call a study session before a board meeting.
Yeah, and we talked about that, and the way, probably the solution for that would, maybe we'd go back to our traditional 5 and 7.
Very good.
So if we had to do that, that's what we would do, correct? The only other thing I thought of, does anyone have a committee that meets right before this?
The curriculum committee often meets, but
there a break?
they also meet right before study sessions, and we normally get done by 5:30.
Okay,
The only issue is there's not a lot of break for people between
Okay.
that meeting.
okay. So that could be a potential, I mean, or we have to schedule it earlier, that committee maybe or something. I mean, that would be, if that's gonna be an issue, I just didn't know if that would be,
It hasn't been an issue yet.
Okay.
But also the curriculum meetings are still online. Does anyone know if I think they're gonna stay online only
do we know that?
I don't know that.
this year.
Oh, over here, Jeff.
Yes, we are planning to have those online for the remainder of the year.
Okay,
So, and there'll be a consistent time frame. So the time frame of curriculum advisory, you're correct, is usually done by 5:30. You know, so even before a study session, there would be a half-hour break approximately. That, I don't see, from a curriculum committee standpoint, I don't see any issues with that being a hiccup.
And Jeff, just a follow-up question. Do most of the staff that attend the curriculum meeting, do they do that from their offices? So they're not having the additional travel from going?
Correct, so when they're online, they are doing it from their office or home or remotely. When they're in person, we've always had them come here.
Okay. So I think we're good.
how about early childhood? Isn't early childhood meet before a
That
break?
happens at about the same time.
They have scheduled them alternating with board meetings now, so it's intentionally been scheduled on non-meeting nights.
Okay, good, okay. So if that's okay with everyone, I think we won't change anything that's already posted. We'll keep this through June 30th, I guess, or whatever, the end of June. We'll still keep the 7 o'clock time, because that obviously has been scheduled around. But for board meetings going forward, after July 1st, we'll do the 6 o'clock start.
Stacy, this may be a little off topic, but I was wondering, I know a couple years ago, we were trying to make sure the board meetings didn't conflict with city council meetings.
They've changed. I think
That
they've
changed?
changed theirs. They've
Okay.
changed theirs, as far as I know. They've changed theirs. Right, Prior Lake? I'm pretty sure they
I
did.
thought we had a few conflicts, but I
Yeah,
wasn't sure.
I think, I'm pretty sure they did, but that I don't know for certain, but I thought I had heard they changed it. Do you know, Martha, by chance? Okay,
It's the same.
no, we're second and fourth.
We're second and fourth now?
We've been second and fourth,
I
haven't
thought
we?
that was just a fluke because.
What are we right now?
Pandemic. Okay, I'm good.
We're second and fourth. We're always second and fourth. Yeah, we're second and fourth. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they changed.
We get off some months.
Yeah, some
because
months we
of
get off because of
holidays
spring
and
break.
other things, spring
But for the
break, yeah.
most part, we're second and fourth. So I think we're good there. That's just discussion. And then in service, I think, we just had some question. I think we'll continue the board's self-evaluation as far as, continuing at that. We'll do the board retreat in June. And I didn't know, and we can talk about this at future study sessions too, but if there's anything as far as board development in the next few months that anyone had ideas on, or otherwise we can bring forward some too, but, if there's anything on anybody's mind right now. Okay. All right, with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn
So made.
by Mary, second?
Second.
By Jonathan? I have to really do, okay. Although, Enrique, because you turned your green. Okay. Amy?
Aye.
Julie? Aye. Mary?
Aye.
Michael? Aye. Jonathan?
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned.